Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the sex, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin, crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be absolutely amazing, guys, because we have Bitcoin bouncing back right now. It got down to about 107, even 106 a little bit. It definitely got into 106s. Definitely bouncing back right now at 107. We did get some good economic data again today. We got PPI coming in better than expected. Still, inflation has risen since last year, but it is still better than expected, which is good, which is really good. I feel like we're about to do some things. I know. I've been saying it all week, right? I think we're about to get bullish. I feel like, we're just winding, guys, and eventually we're going to spring, and it's going to be absolutely amazing to watch. But we do have Ethereum actually doing good against Bitcoin, so this is a good thing for a lot of different reasons. The main reason is alt season, or like we like to call it, Rune June. We do definitely think that the runes are about to explode. Dog took a huge hit over the last couple of days, down 20%. Sitting at around 400 million. It was around 500 million, a little under 500 million, but it's still close. So a little less than, probably like 15% since like Monday, but not worried at all. Great buying opportunity if you're interested. But definitely a really good opportunity that I see. And I see, we're about to do really, really good stuff coming up here. And we have a lot of reasons why. I mean, the banners today are so bullish. There's so much going on. Not only in the stablecoin market, right? Because there's a lot of coming from there. Facebook might be creating their own chain now using the technology that helped build Sui and Aptos. And then we have other stuff, right, that's happening. Slingshot kind of saying that runes are like the hardest thing in the world to code. They said they can vibe code any chain, but when it comes to runes and stuff. So it just kind of makes you think, is Slingshot capable of doing this? But we'll find out, right? But without further ado, let's bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's going on, man? How you feeling today?
I feel okay. I'm gonna feel okay until I feel like we're done with this hitting those goals of between 120 and 130. The pullbacks and stuff, they don't faze me right now. I am really hardcore focused on the M2 global money supply still. And I think I'm learning something through this process, right? I remember what happened Q4 of 2024, just getting my feet wet with the M2 global money supply and how it correlates. But I was a bit distracted during that period. But now this is round two and it's playing out the exact same way. Now, yesterday there was, I think Scott Bessent, we'll get into that a little bit, kind of I guess poured some of the bad mood or bad energy sentiment into our markets. I think market makers took advantage of that, swung back down, and you had about $318 million worth of liquidations, and ETH longs got hit the hardest, which makes sense because people are extra bullish on ETH right now. So look, just hang tight, zoom out, don't get too greedy, because these are the perfect opportunities for market makers to liquidate you guys.
100% low leverage, guys. Low leverage, especially right now. It's not time to get overly bullish. Be bullish. I definitely think be bullish, but it doesn't mean we're gonna rock it off today, right? But it does, in my opinion, I think June's gonna be a really good month. But let's jump into our main topic of today. Market Shockwave. Bitcoin eyes new highs after CPI and PPI surprise. So that happened today. Yesterday we had the CPI surprise. Really, no one really expected us to kind of get under expectations, and today again, under expectations. I do feel like Bitcoin's going to eye a new high with this, and it's going to come sooner than we think. I think that today was a nice reality check. They're coming in and they're making sure people aren't on high leverage. They do that for one reason, so people don't steal money from them before liftoff time, right? And when I say that, I mean high leverage and just getting real lucky, good timing, right? Good timing the market really well. They don't want you to time the market. They want to time the market. And when I say they, I mean the Binance. I mean, the bigger exchanges who do leverage trading. They want to make sure that you are sitting on the sideline before they take this price up.
Absolutely. And the best way to do that is to instill fear in people that feel comfortable. And that's exactly what these opportunities are. And they'll hit your stop losses, even for the confident and more disciplined traders that set stop losses and set take profits and stuff. The whole idea is to, when you see that open interest on the long side just really start to pile up, is to liquidate and reset the sentiment. But that's why it's so important to zoom out and remember what indicators are important when you do zoom out. So saying, okay, I see this opportunity, we're going to go to 130. That could be strung out, but like maybe 2 weeks to like a month and a half, right? So you never know. And a lot of times that greed seeps in, and then you say, well, I think it's up only. And that's whenever you can get hurt here. But I'm definitely learning more as time goes on of how to kind of view the markets and stay okay, like emotionally, because this is where the emotional kind of traders and stuff really get hit hard. 314 million, sorry, I got the number wrong there. $314 million of liquidations in the past 24 hours. That's a lot, right? We've seen bigger, but for 24 hours, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, 100%. Let's jump into some off-chain news here. So we got US PPI rose 2.6 below expectations. Core PPI hit 3 versus a 3.1 forecast, but came in cooler than expected, a potential sign of easing inflation. So inflation is now easing. We're down to these numbers that, the Fed wants to be at. The Fed wants to be at, between 2.1 and 2.3. They've said this, over the course of the last 4 years. But I think they're going to have to be okay with potential growing that 2.3 to 2.6. And I think this is our new bottom here. And I think that it's just going to take time for the Fed to realize that and then say, okay, I think we're okay to take our foot off the neck of, the economy, because that's what they're doing right now. When you're basically selling assets into the market, selling bonds into the market like the Fed is doing, it's not good. We need the Fed to be buying bonds. We need the Fed to be printing money to buy bonds in the market. That is called quantitative easing. And I think we get that. Maybe we don't get a rate cut next week, but I think maybe we get a stopping of quantitative tightening, maybe a pause, and then a future headline of quantitative easing has started.
That's the hope, right? And being able to, pausing of, I see what you're saying, pausing of kind of the asset side of it,
Selling,
but like
yeah.
in terms of the rates, right? It's like getting out of that pause like stagnation kind of in a sense, right? And we want the rates to be cut because that's when people can get a little bit more aggressive in terms of, you know, whether you're shopping for a house or larger institutions taking money from the bank, right? And then utilizing that to really spur the economy. And so that's what we want. That's when I think that we get into that alt season, whenever that happens, hopefully sooner than later. But we are inching our way towards that, right? With data results like this.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's jump into the next story here. So Colin Toast Crypto, someone that I've been following for a while here, he says ETH Bitcoin bullish. Breakout from pennant and retest with bounce. The next major resistance break to 0.0262. So that, let me actually show my chart here. So you guys can see what I am looking at as well. So this is the chart that he's kind of showing here, and I can zoom in a little bit. So he's expecting us to kind of break out here now that we broke out of this triangle here. And his exact words were, you know, if it does that, we're off to the races. Alts will like this very much. So he's saying, this isn't just good for ETH. This is good for all alts right now, breaking out of here and going a lot higher. And I think so too. I mean, if we go back to the chart here and we go down the ETH Bitcoin, remember I had that, you know, about 2 months ago, I created that house that Jerome was kind of talking about. And let's kind of see what that house looks like, because it is the same exact chart here, but we should be breaking out of that house really soon here. Where's my house?
They got rid of your
there
house.
It is.
There's
No,
that
it's
house.
still there. It's still there.
I mean, that's like artistic, you know, perfection right there.
I love my house, dude. Come on. But as you can see, we did dip. I got a cup and handle, nice little cup and handle, which usually means, look at this cup, which usually means a breakout. So, and look at this line I created all the way back here. I was pretty much right so far. Let's see if I continue to be right. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it broke out of it just a little bit, but it seems like it's retracing back to get back on route, right? Look, as much as we, including us, I'm not going to say we didn't, but the entire space has beat Ethereum up in terms of kind of poking fun at it and all these things. You got to admit that it's showing strength, at least to be that lead indicator for the alt markets, right? And so, that's what we're all waiting for, is for ETH to take that strength, that dominance back from Bitcoin a bit, and then say, hey, it's go time. Now, I think after that happens, we'll see how much of an influence it has. Right now, it looks like it does have a pretty strong influence and stronghold on the rest of the alt market.
Yeah, 100% agree. Definitely looks good to me, man. This looks like, I mean, we could definitely start seeing something like this breakout up here, maybe a little sideways in the breakout. But what that's going to do, that's going to take Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin D, that's going to take this down. And as we can see, I haven't been right so far with my prediction, but we definitely broke out. You know, but if you want to zoom out though, you know, Benjamin Cohen saying, hey, you know, we broke out here down and then back up. So I'm actually still hoping for something like this, right? I mean, get back down to the 58 mark. That's alt season. From here to there means alts are ripping against Bitcoin. Bitcoin can still go up, and that's one thing people don't understand. They're saying, oh, you're bearish on Bitcoin. No, I think Bitcoin's going to go to 200, 300,000, but I think the alts kind of move, kind of catch up a little bit.
Well, I think the descent of the Bitcoin dominance chart could be a situation to where Bitcoin's just slowly grinding up while the others are sprinting, right?
Yeah.
And you know, that sprint, it's a sprint, meaning sprints don't last for a very super long time, but they'll sprint to kind of catch up, in my opinion. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right in terms of this chart here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of time, right? This right here would be, you know, this would be September, right? September 2025 to get just get down to 58, right? And then I do see potentially another leg that takes us down to 49, and I think this could be the bottom for this cycle. I'm actually hoping that we get into the 30s, but it's hard to imagine that at this point. You know?
Yeah, I think you were the one that said that. Colin said that we'll never get that low again, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if we did, though. That means that these alts are giga pumping pretty hard, in my opinion. And, you know, because I don't see a situation to where Bitcoin retraces to the point where everybody's like worried about Bitcoin again. Like this new, I guess, environment to where institutions are stabilizing Bitcoin a lot better than it has happened in the past, right? So volatility happens still, but it's less prominent, in my opinion, with Bitcoin specifically.
100%, 100%. Let's jump to the next thing here. Bob Loukas says another person pumping ETH here. I don't see Bob tweeting about ETH a lot. He tweets about gold. He tweets about Bitcoin. He tweets about what is it? The S&P 500. He doesn't tweet about ETH. So he has a tweet here about ETH. He said, and this is actually huge coming from him. He says that ETH is obvious play right now. The obvious play right now, and all narratives will continue to build around it as a positive sentiment grows. So that's basically what he's saying here. Also, slightly later cycle target vibe. So he's basically saying that this, it's following Bitcoin, but same thing. He's basically saying ETH Bitcoin. This is two people in a row now that I highly respect, Colin and Bob Loukas, basically showing the same chart. And I doubt either of them follow each other. But yeah, so I mean, dude, I'm so bullish on Ethereum against Bitcoin right now.
This does put me at ease a bit, because I was a bit worried of ETH and the alts just because of the dominance being so strong this cycle, and we haven't seen anything like that, right? I mean, yes, Bitcoin has shown like really strong dominance in the past. I'm not saying that, but the prolonged dominance is what I'm talking about, and being so dominant throughout the entire time. Right. And so for someone like Bob Loukas to say, hey, look, this is obvious play, it lets me be at ease a bit and say, okay, so, the people that have been around for a while, the people that we respect in the space that have been around for a while is basically saying, hey, don't worry, that alt market is still going to be here. Might not look exactly the same of what we're used to in 2021 and even 2017, but it's going to come. And I'm excited to see what it looks like, because maybe it's better. Who knows? Maybe it's worse, but I'm just excited the fact that a lot of these smart people that we respect are still expecting it to happen.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, dude. I'm really looking forward to the next couple weeks, honestly, because I think it's weeks and not months at this point before we see a huge breakout.
Hopefully.
But jumping back to a Maxi here, we got Plan B. So he follows the stock to flow. That's kind of his baby, and the stock to flow basically takes gold, what happened in gold, and basically sizes it out, brings it in for a Bitcoin, because gold has like a 10-year cycle as well. Bitcoin has 4-year cycle. So he's basically saying here, Bitcoin has tracked the power leg over very well. Question is, will we see 2013, 2017, 2021 like bull run with RSI 80 plus red dots? And if so, how high will Bitcoin go from here? 100x like 2013? Nah, I think we can say no, that's not gonna happen. That would be what
100 times
$100 million. $100 million Bitcoin. No.
No. It's
$10 million Bitcoin.
10 million.
Yeah. 10x like 2017, 4x like 2021, or a 2x to 200k like most people think, or a 5 to 10x line. Then that aligns with the stock to flow. So this is a chart here. The RSI is why it is red or yellow right now. He's saying the RSI is around 75. But he's expecting us to get, like, every single cycle, we have RSI above 80, right? Above 85. And it lasts for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it gets back in the red here. But we haven't seen any, which gets me kind of bullish that we might be seeing them really, really soon within the next, maybe 3, 4, taking us to that 700K line.
Absolutely. It is a bullish feeling because we haven't seen any yet. But let's say that we get 4 to 6, right, of those red dots. That could really turn the price up, right? But he is right. There's a lot of people that are calling for not a lot, but like the people that have been in the space for a while, like the Charles Hawkinsons and stuff like that, calling for 230 to 250. And I think that's probably like the conservative call. That's what I was calling for a while. I said 200 to 350 is something that I'm expecting. But we'll see what happens. The fact that we haven't had any red dots yet is definitely encouraging.
Yeah, 100%. And normally too, like, even before the red dots, we started to get some orange ones, right? We haven't even really, we had some fake outs, right? Some fake outs there. So we haven't really even got any orange ones yet. So let's just say the next 3 months we get orange. We can get red, leading us in the Q1 and hitting that number. So, I mean, we only have 6 more dots for the rest of this year, right? I mean, it's not that many months left. I mean, we have July, August, September, October, November.
6 months left.
So, yeah. So we got 6. So, yeah, man. but we will see with that. So he also, yeah, this basically said the dot chart there. But yeah, plan B. All right, let's kind of get into some not fun news here. United States Secretary of Treasury Bessent says the U.S. debt ceiling must be raised and extended. Bessent also says that if the debt ceiling is not resolved, it could trigger a biggest financial crisis since 2008. Bessent says crypto stablecoins could lock in U.S. dominance. So yesterday he said a lot of stuff yesterday, right? But the main thing, and will push markets down. A lot of people saying different other reasons. I heard something about a war, but no, this is the reason why stocks went down yesterday. Is because stocks and crypto went down yesterday is because the U.S. debt ceiling needs to be raised. So until we get a deal there is some uncertainty why people aren't going heavy right now into buying some of this stuff.
This could be a strategic move by making that statement. I know that the current administration, and this is going to probably surprise a lot of people, but people on the opposition, right? You got the Elizabeth Warrens that are agreeing with Trump right now, saying let's eliminate the debt ceiling, and so maybe this warning shot or fear warning is to try to encourage that, right? It's like, get everybody in society and in Congress on board to try to eliminate that, because I know that's trying to be passed right now.
Yeah.
But obviously, market makers probably licking their chops here, saying, "Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect for that." It's always going to happen anyways. Whatever they decide, okay, we got to clean up a little bit here before we move forward. But having some news and headlines to kind of go on top of that is always, welcomed by them, I'm sure. So the pullback of Bitcoin yesterday, I'm fine with that. It kind of aligns with what I'm saying of the beginning of this week and end of last week of, look, I'm okay if we swing from 101, 102 back to 110, 111, and then all the way back down, because there's going to be this 1 week to 2 week period that these kind of headlines and stuff happens after that, really strong run up in May. And then we continue that leg up. So I feel like I know where we're going. I know I have the map. And, I'm okay to wait 2 weeks during that process. And we'll see headlines like this during that period.
Yeah, 100%. All right, but he also said, the stablecoin thing, right? And then we have the U.S. stablecoin market could exceed 2 trillion projection end of 2028, thanks Treasury Secretary Bessent. And this all comes on, the Genius Act, right? He said U.S. Senate votes to advance the Genius Act crypto stablecoin, so it has now crossed again. We are getting really, really close to this being in the law. And then you have Bank of America coming out. CEO says they're developing their own stablecoin. Pretty huge. Bank of America, obviously a Bank of America creating a stablecoin would be absolutely huge, because of the fact that now banks are going to be trading potentially in stablecoins. I just don't get like why every bank wants to get in the stablecoin game. Like, do you think they'll eventually just pick one, or do you think it's going to be like, I don't know, like 500 different stablecoins?
I think that they're going to have control over a lot of their own product, right, that they roll out for this, so they can control how much the retail user or public, their customer is going to be able to earn. So they have more control over their stable coin to be able to figure out what product makes the most sense. And so that's what I think one of the reasons why. But this kind of has to happen to follow your forecast of multiple trillions of dollars flowing into our ecosystem in terms of liquidity wise, right? You got to have the large banking institutions, and this is something that you and I've kind of talked about already. It's not going to stop at banking institutions. They actually already got front ran a little bit by the PayPals and some of these other payment, fintech companies, and I think that's going to continue. But I think where you're going to see some probably struggle in the very beginning is maybe an institution that bites off a little bit more than they can chew, decides to do something, a stable coin, right? And the Genius Act actually allows that more flexibility if you're dealing with $10 billion or less. And so, we might see like, Cash App. I'm not saying they're going to be one of the ones that buckles, but, they're not as big as PayPal. They do have Jack Dorsey, you know, kind of behind that company. So maybe not them, but a similar kind of brand level is what I'm saying. That gets in a little bit of hot water, or bites off more than they can chew, and then we see a stable coin kind of collapse, and then that will be bad. But I think it's kind of the growing pains, right? This is new. Then you'll see after 5 years, 10 years of these like formidable institutions, and like I expect Bank of America stablecoin to be like that. So
yeah, I mean that's the thing too, is like a Bank of America stablecoin, it couldn't drop in value, right? It can't, because they're a bank. They can print basically as much money. You know, if you deposit in, you know, 10,000, they're allowed to go invest 8,000 of that, right? So they're allowed to basically create money. So I don't know. These we'll see what happens with this. But what do you think about this idea that I'm actually hearing? A new chain popping up. Let's just say Bank of America chain. Its gas token is actually its stable coin. What do you think about that?
I mean, huge revenues for them.
Yeah.
Huge
Yeah.
revenues for them. That's probably what in the plans. I never thought of that. That's actually really genius. Obviously I got to think further into it, see where the holes could be. But you know, one thing that just came to my mind too is you know, these large institutions that are going to be maybe expecting deposits for these stablecoin products, right? Well, maybe that's a little bit of what the Fed's waiting on to cut rates, because imagine this, like this influx of capital as retail bank users or customers say, I want to earn, you know, 7% off of my, you know, stablecoin deposit. I'm going to deposit. And then all of a sudden now you're getting like tens of billions of dollars across the nation in deposits. Now the Fed's like, this is like gold opportunity to cut rates, because now there's so much more capital that these banks can lend out, you know, to the people that they're big customers, right? The institutions that will take a loan and then either invest into the markets or buy real estate or whatever. So this is like a snowball effect that could possibly happen. Don't kill me if you're in the chat or listening in. This is something that just came to my mind, but it makes sense, doesn't it?
100%, dude. And think about this, right? Think about you know, Bank of America you know, pairing with USDC, right? You would think like, well, how would you get yield from that? You get yield from the trading fees, right? And that if the yield is paid in the governance token, which is a stable coin, right? At the end of the day, you're staking the stable coin potentially into their validators, right? And then you're earning that way as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of different opportunities coming from TradFi that may not exist it yet, because they are trusted regulators, right? They're part of the regulation. They help with the regulation. So we will see. We will see what happens next. But this is actually, stablecoins are the biggest thing to ever happen to the U.S. government.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of stablecoins, USDC goes live on Ripple's XRPL ledger. How do you feel about USDC for the first time going live on Ripple? It makes me think that during the negotiations to buy USDC or to buy Circle, Ripple was like, "Yo, like let's get you guys on our ledger here," and Ripple could potentially be, you know, a shareholder. I got to look into it, but yeah, we'll see, because they are publicly traded now.
Well, is it getting you a little bit bullish on the XRPL?
Yes, I'm very bullish on XRPL. I'm still bearish on XRP, the token. Like I think it goes up, but I think it's gonna lack. It's gonna lack in comparison to other coins. Like I actually think Ethereum outpaces XRP.
So what's another situation, because that sounds like a kind of a unique situation to where you're bullish on the chain but not necessarily on the main token of the chain, because I think you do use XRP for transactions fees there.
It's so
but
small though.
Yeah, it is. It's really small. I've used it. It is small. It's, you know, you don't even notice it really. But is there another situation that reminds you of that, to where you're not necessarily bullish on the main token but the chain you are, the ecosystem you are? Maybe like BNB strong.
I'm in the camp that like everything's going up, you know, against Bitcoin, at least for the next 6 to 8 months, right? So it's hard. Like I'm bullish. I mean, if I said, you know, XRP is going to do a 3x, you'd be like, you're bullish on it, right? But I'm telling you right now that, you know, Ethereum potentially could do, you know, 8, 9, 10x from here potentially, right? I mean, 10x is kind of crazy side of craziness, but it could, right? I mean, I think it's going to go between 18 and 22,000, maybe even 24,000, which would be that 10x. But right now, but I'm just not as bullish on XRP. XRP already kind of ran too. XRP already had like an 8x.
Early this cycle, you mean, like in late 2024, along with Cardano too. I think they kind of ran simultaneously. But yeah, you're right. I've only had the opposite situation. I remember I used to be kind of bearish on BSC like in 2022 summer, 2023, because it just like was all memes and that was it on there. But the token itself looked pretty strong and formidable. So, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out. This is big news for them though.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of Ripple, CEO Brad Garlinghouse says meme coins are grossly overrated and not sustainable. I used to be in this camp. Now I'm in the camp of they're not called meme coins anymore. They're actually community coins. And as a community gets larger, what happens? More people have to buy into those coins. So, and I believe that XRP, honestly, is a meme coin. You can say it's the gas token and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's been a meme coin for the last 10 years. Like maybe now it's starting to be a governance token or whatever, but I don't even think by holding it you get any say in the chain anyway. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think he has a point, but he's got to respect the communities that are strong, right, and that are sustainable. Right, and then you basically need that community to carry the coin to a certain level of success, and then the brand starts to take over. We see that with Doge, right? And so I think Dog is on its way to that from our ecosystem. We'll see what comes out of Solana, like that fart coin. The thing about fart coin is funny. There's a lot of liquidity behind it, but I just don't see, like, I remember the early days with Shiba Inu. There was community there. There was like big, like, people. I remember like famous bodybuilders or like UFC fighters that would be like, I'm in here or whatever, and the Telegram would talk to each other. I don't know. I'm not in that deep with the Solana community, so deep. I don't.
They're big.
Okay.
So yesterday, some guy went to 3 hedge funds and tried to get them to buy Farcoin. Like, he was giving presentations to hedge fund, and they were getting up. They were getting up and leaving, like, during the conference.
That's hilarious.
They're pretty big, and he puts on the glasses, and they're like, oh crap, they knew what they were in for. So yeah, the Farcoin community is actually pretty big.
Yeah, and I know Cryptolution has kind of approached hedge funds and got them to actually take some position. So what Dog has done that. So we'll see who comes out of the cycle to be those strong memes. So I think every cycle you're going to have at least 1 to 3 that are really strong and that make it. But yeah, the part I agree with him is like the overall sector of it is grossly overrated, but the ones that are strong, I think they're underrated sometimes.
Yeah, and meme coins are striving and will strive, in my opinion, is because the U.S. government had they had their foot on the neck of crypto. Like, you couldn't build anything with utility for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
right. With the argument of saying maybe you can this year, but you still don't know the rules. Like, Trump's been in office now for about 150 days, and we still don't know the rules. What can we do and what can't we do? We're kind of getting a hint of the rules, but it's still not written. It's not out yet, right? We're just kind of following what Trump's doing. Trump launches a meme coin. It's like, okay, I guess meme coins are okay, right? So it's like they come out and they say, meme coins are like collectibles, but show me this in writing, right? So, but we'll see. Stripe to acquire crypto wallet startup Privy to simplify wallet integration and expand its crypto product stack. So this is absolutely huge. Because Privy, if you use Courtyard or if you use a lot of other, sites and stuff like that, they'll say, hey, you can buy with this, connect with this, and they use Privy in the back end. And now you see Stripe, someone who wants to start building their own stablecoin and has been building their own stablecoin, now buying Privy. This is absolutely huge.
This is another fintech company that's saying, hey, we're getting involved too, guys. It's not a stablecoin, but it's another part of the industry that they're trying to build a strong product, right? So this is big. This is another sign of the mass adoption that's happening from the institutional level first. And then that's how it has to start anyways. Really, the institutions that control the narrative in normie land or Web 2 world are the ones that are going to have to really make it mainstream, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is massive. Congratulations to Privy. I mean, they just they just came out. Now they can go build something else.
Yeah, what a good business to be in is the onboarding with traditional methods, right? The credit card, but then integrating it into Web3. I mean, if they can corner that market, which it sounds like they're starting to, then they're going to be a huge company.
Massive, absolutely massive. So STRD, this is the MicroStrategy. Basically, you get yield for holding this token, 10% yield. The third BTC-backed preferred stock. They're basically copying what Jack Mallers and Tether are doing. But with another project, so they're not diluting MSTR anymore by selling down to buy Bitcoin. Now they're actually using this. So it went live yesterday, and it was priced at $85 a share. It began trading around 89 to 90, delivering 11 to 11.75 yield, well above the 10% coupon. So they're saying you'll get 10%, but it depends, right? You can get higher or lower. I'm not sure what goes into that, but right now it's giving you 11.75% yield. The offering increased from 2.5 million shares to 11.76 shares, raising MicroStrategy nearly $980 million yesterday.
That's a light purchase day though for him, isn't it? Of Bitcoin.
That's no. He no. Well, no. He would buy like
medium.
Some weeks where he'd buy like 100 million and stuff.
Yeah,
like
those
that.
were the light. Those are
this
the
is
light
a big
days.
buy. This is a big buy for my. If he comes out this week and says MicroStrategy has acquired, I don't know, $980 million worth of Bitcoin, that's huge.
Yeah, so this is but it's like he was able to raise almost $1 billion, right? But this is gonna be a continuous thing.
It'll be every day.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I feel like that play could be really good in the next like 2-3 months, 6 months. All right. I don't know. We should probably have looked into that ourselves a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, talk about 11%, 11.75.
But at the same time, like, do you think Bitcoin's going to go up 11% in the next couple months?
Yeah.
This is yearly. So do you think Bitcoin's going to go up 11% next year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then why would you hold this? Why not just hold Bitcoin itself?
Yeah, you could do that.
You're not getting exposure to the actual Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I think the biggest thing would be like their biggest selling pitch is that you have protection of not losing your shares, right? Or like the value of your shares can go down for sure.
Yeah, they can drop too.
They can go down. Yeah, I mean, maybe it is just kind of one of those products that is for the old guard, right? It's for the old heads, that the old money that eventually would probably get their own Bitcoin eventually because they have smart financial advisors and stuff. So I don't know. Seems to be popular though.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is too is like, yes, you might see a lot of money go into this, saying, hey, like, we want that yield. We think at least over the next 12 months that we're going to get that 11% yield, and it's safe. And potentially it's kind of like buying a bond, right? In a sense, you pay for the bond, you get the yield, right? You're not expecting the bond to go up, and the bonds can go up in price, but you're not expecting them to. But you are expecting that, 2%, 4%, 6% yield that you get from that bond.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this is pretty big. Pudgy Penguins announces partnership with NASCAR to bring Pengu to NASCAR fans. What do you think about this?
I mean, I feel like everybody's like Yagobi glazes freaking Loukas nets so much, but I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, the guy is like the master businessman in our space, and so you got to respect it, and you probably should get that blueprint out if you're trying to be a business person in Web3, because the guy's like literally merged in terms of closing huge deals. Walmart, Pez, NASCAR. What's next, right? So I mean, the abstract ecosystem should be very happy who's behind that.
Yeah, think about it. It's the guy in 2020, created an NFT collection.
No, he created no. Oh, my bad. You're right. Maybe he did.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Pudgy.
No. He created an NFT collection in 2020, 2021. It launched. It did absolutely insane, right? It did crazy, and then he created the chain. And then he got partnerships with Walmart, and then he got partnership with this. And then the chain went live, and now they're talking about the ABS token, which is going to be the governance for the chain. And then on top of that, now you have these partnerships with NASCAR, and who knows what come next? I mean, you can potentially see potentially with the NBA or with someone even bigger than that, right? Like NASCAR is right there with those guys. So I mean, Pudgy Penguins could be the number
On
one
the
company
jersey.
that comes
Is
out
it
of
be on
crypto.
a jersey?
You could.
I
You
know.
could, right?
I know. Yeah.
So you could
I
say
mean,
Abstract Chain, like Abstract Chain is now sponsoring
yeah.
this, right? Or you never know, maybe potentially you put NASCAR on the blockchain, right? But where you're doing different types of stuff, where you're selling NASCAR NFTs on Abstract. There's different types of stuff now that can come from this partnership, and I think this is just seeing maybe a Pudgy Penguin on the screen during a NASCAR thing, or like in a race car during a little animation clip or something. So it would be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
What makes the story even better is he actually saved Pudgy Penguins, because Pudgy Penguins was going under, and I think he was a part of the community, and he put a deal together to
Oh,
acquire it.
he didn't create them.
No. So
Oh.
he had businesses in Web2 world, and he just has always been an entrepreneur, and he saw an opportunity as Pudgy Penguins was kind of starting to fail, and acquired it, and that thing turned around. Like, I want to say within like 6 months that the
Yeah.
Walmart deal was done, or was about to be done, and then you push forward, and the plans for Abstract and all that stuff was in play and all that. So that's why I'm like, I think he's going to be a huge figure in our space in the next 10 years. He's already a huge figure in our space.
Yeah, massive, absolutely massive, for sure. All right, let's kind of get into the crypto fear and greed here. So last week we were at a 55, yesterday we were at a 65. We're lower than yesterday. We're pretty much in the middle, a little higher than the middle, between last week's 55 and yesterday's 65.
60.
Pretty much 61. So we're right there. It's kind of sitting kind of flat here, which is expected. I mean, Bitcoin's back at 107, 400. So yeah, what do you think?
I'm fine with it. I think we're okay. I wouldn't be shocked if it gets lower to kind of finish the week with tomorrow, but I'm not worried about any of this price action, any of the sentiment. I'm not worried about it at all. I feel like we're just in this kind of purgatory right now for 2 weeks, and we'll pick back up, whether it's next week or the week after. That's why I'm not worried, because I know it's going to happen. I could be wrong. If I am, call me out. I'm okay with that. But that's just how I feel.
I mean, if you're wrong, then the MC Money
Exactly.
wrong
That's
as well,
why that's why I'm so confident, because I'm just like, I know who's got my back, and which data has not been my friend this entire year. You know that.
Yeah.
And that's second nature to me. With what my profession previously was all data driven, but this time I feel like this is the data that's been really just reliant. I've been relying on. So cool.
100%. All right, let's get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, these guys are building a trading leverage platform on a Bitcoin L2. The L2s that they're choosing for now are Botonix, the spider chain. Botonix is doing some really, really cool stuff. They have a huge announcement coming that I'm hearing, so stay tuned for that. But potentially by using the Artura token, there's going to be incentive. You're going to get incentivized to do so using Botonix. And they are also launching on Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. This is absolutely massive because Hemi doesn't have a token yet. And potentially by using Artura on Hemi, you will be airdropped not only the ARA token that you'll be getting for using Artura, but potentially the Hemi token as well. So this is two huge opportunities to air farm using Artura.finance.
Absolutely, guys. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action, as always, I'm going to ask you guys to help us out, because you always do and you're awesome for that. But on the YouTube side, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. You don't want to miss any lives heading into Q4, getting through the summer, of course, and then heading into Q4. But on the X side, guys, let's share the space. Come on, Dog Army. I know you're out there, as well as just the Bitcoin ecosystem. Everybody. We cover everything here. But if you could share the space, we want to onboard as many new people to our industry as possible. Same thing with the Abstract side, guys. Let's share that link, and let's dive into some Bitcoin price action here, starting with the hour chart as always. Let's take a look here. All right, so this doesn't look very great, right? This is kind of that time period, I guess, whenever Scott Bessent maybe started talking about the debt ceiling here, possibly around here somewhere. But it's been really down only since this time period, which is around 8 to 9 o'clock yesterday. So maybe it was a little bit after that. But we did wick up here to 110,400, and then it was a downswing, which, guys, again, remember, the market makers are going to try to liquidate you guys. It is a business. They're not going to just let all the James win all the time, right? And so, by the way, I wonder if he got liquidated. He's probably one of the people. Yeah. But yeah, we got all the way down to this bottom price here, 106,600. Let's see what's going to happen for the rest of today, though, right? You can see a lot of times what will happen is if we have a big, like, multiple legs up here, sometimes it will try to kind of be symmetrical and bring it back down here, but I'm not so sure that's going to happen. We did have a break in that downtrend that happened early this morning. We did pull back up, right? So we'll see probably some sideways here for a little bit. You can see that the MACD, man, this sell pressure has lasted since Tuesday at 12 a.m. So like 24 hours Tuesday, 24 hours Wednesday, and now we're looking at about 50 something hours, almost 60 hours of sell pressure on the MACD with just this little blip of a break, not really anything. But yeah, so these indicators look kind of nasty on the sell side, right? But it does look like it's starting to exhaust here, right? But it has had that opportunity multiple times, right here, and it continued. So eventually it's kind of like roulette, right? If you hit black so many times, you imagine that the momentum's going to switch the other way. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but I'm definitely not going to commit to that actually happen until we get some big green candles and are officially out of the sell pressure on the MACD. So second half of today, I would be very careful, right? I would not be shocked if this continues, because there was an opportunity for this to start. And actually we did have a little tiny green candle here on the MACD, but it died really quickly once this started to reverse. So let's take a look here. The stochastics has been down here forever as well. It looks like it wants to head to overbought. And this is also another sign, us being at 68, we've moved past the 20 point, oversold territory, heading to overbought, which is that 80 point mark. And we haven't really had too much of a recovery yet. Yeah, we did, but we're pulling back already, right? So let's see what happens here. You can see that the blue line hasn't fully committed to kind of like that vertical direction yet. So this could start to reverse. I wouldn't be shocked if it does, man. Honestly, let's take a look here at the support and resistance. Let's go local data here, going back to 1 a.m. today. I think that's fair. Let's kind of open this up and see what support and resistance looks like. You can see resistance is dominant here at the 107.4. It's dominant above as well. It kind of balances back out at 107,500. So $150 increase would kind of get us back to that dominance. So we would need some large buy bids up here, but it looks like it's heading in the opposite direction. If you see here, right below that, we're balanced. So we do have some support here to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit here, and then below that we do have some more support. So this could be kind of like a chop back and forth with that slight downtrend, right? So if that's the case, I think that would be a dub for the day if we did have like kind of a chop with a little bit of downtrend, not anything too much, because the support right here is even stronger. So it gets stronger as we go down. The place that we're losing is exactly where we are right now. But if we make it down here, I think we'll be okay. Like I think we have 107 kind of protected decently, right? So if we can kind of get through the swing and not really, have huge sell bids come in and push us down below this area, I think we'll be fine and kind of chop with a little bit of downtrend, maybe get to that 107, high 106 area. But then if we can survive that, then I think we'll probably try to reverse back up to 108. But again, don't be shocked if it's just the pendulum swing, getting back to 107.5, 108, and then back down to 106.5. Right now, after $314 million of liquidations, the market makers are trying to kind of reset the sentiment a little bit, trick some people out a little bit more, try to see if they can get some more. That's my opinion, of course. So that's what I'm seeing for the 1 hour chart, which is going to be the second, the next 4 to 6 to 8 hours of today. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. The 4 hour does not look good, right? I love the 4 hour chart because it gives you about 2 or 3 days of forecasting. But man, this is telling me that it's no bueno in terms of the buy side, right? You see a lot more sell pressure here. I mean, the MACD just looks like it's almost full blown sell pressure for the 4 hour chart, right? And this kind of started back yesterday, right? The sell pressure started yesterday. So if we have this continued sell pressure happening, right? Let's say that chop for what the downtrend happens, maybe not even super aggressive though, but it just happens and this maintains, we could kind of see a chop to the downside playing out until the end of tomorrow. And then Saturday and Sunday are kind of, Saturday's a toss-up day, right? It's kind of like that trader choppy scalping type of day.
Usually just sideways.
Yeah,
whatever it is in the morning, it finishes at night. Yeah.
Exactly right, and then we can get something of a reversal on Sunday. But let's see how the next 2 days play out. Today is going to be important to see if this momentum continues. But this kind of supports that thesis of, you know, maybe that downtrend, slight downtrend, and maybe it's a downtrend that kind of tricks you that it's going to reverse, but it's more of a chop downtrend. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. Sorry, I wish I had better news, but hey, look, at the end of the day, like I said, if you zoom out and you know where we're headed, this is not going to bother you. Heading to the weekly chart here. The weekly's been kind of volatile. I would say not volatile as in extreme volatility, because it is a weekly chart, meaning that these candles are weekly data points, right? But you know, we go from strong green candle to kind of weak green candle to sometimes red showing up here. And then also yesterday, I think, or the day before yesterday, this was showing us a darker green candle on the MACD indicator as well. I think we're fine, guys. I think we're fine. If we do end with a red candle, I still think we're okay, because I like I mentioned before, I feel like I know where we're heading at least until the mid-July to late July time period. You know, stochastics looks fine. MACD's okay. Yes, this is showing exhaustion a bit, but a week is a long time for a data candle, right? So let's give it the rest of the next 3 days to see how this bounces back, if it does, or if it continues down. If it does, we might end with a red candle. But again, I'm not panicking, and I advise against panicking in anything, right? So, but let's the weekly for Bitcoin looks okay. I'm okay with this. Doesn't look as good as it did 2 days ago, but I'm okay with this. Let's take a look at the other chart. The other chart looks actually better, a little bit better than Bitcoin, and that's because Ethereum has been pretty strong. So I feel like it is starting to really attach itself to Ethereum here. Let's see if Ethereum can detach itself from Bitcoin, because that would be really great, right? Then we'll see this other chart start to pick up. It is showing a little bit of stagnation on the MACD here. It is darker green, so it's a little bit better than what we saw on the Bitcoin side, showing a little bit more exhaustion. So this is a good sign if Ethereum can continue, because Ethereum's not in this data, by the way. This data is strictly everything besides the top 10 blue chips, including Bitcoin. But because Ethereum's doing well, a lot of the ones outside of that, they follow Ethereum first, and then Bitcoin kind of, if Ethereum follows Bitcoin, they kind of lag. They're like they tail it, but they're lag. Right now, it seems like they're following Ethereum closer, because Ethereum's showing a little bit more strength here. So we'll see how the rest of this plays out. But I feel okay here on the others weekly chart as well. This does not look great, but it's okay. This is the daily crypto bubbles, guys, for pretty much the alts, right? Bitcoin is in here. It is 1 through 100, as so is Ethereum. But the only thing that we're saying, this token white is so funny, because like sometimes it will just stick out like opposite, right? Like it did this last week. It's like, okay, everybody's red, I'm gonna be green. But then, you know, when everything's green, this is like just lost in the background, right? But yeah, let's look at some notables here. Some of the meme coins, you know, they might rise aggressively, but they also get hit in the gut more aggressive than the utility ones as well. And you can see that here. Dog with Hat down 11.1%, Flocky down 11.7%, Bonk down 12%. But then you see the utilities not hit as hard, but it kind of goes the opposite way too, right? When things are rocking, they're kind of rocking not as well at first. AVAX is only down 7.3%. Virtuals is actually kind of higher than expected, down 10%. You see Sui down 6.3%, Aave down 6%, Cardano down 6.6%, Immutable X down 8.8%, Pith down 10.8%. Pith has been kind of rocking though, I think, on the upside the past week or so. So that's kind of understandable. You see Solana down 5.8%, Caspa down 6.7%, Arbitrum down 9.8%. So those are some of the Hyperliquid down 2.7%. So that's pretty good for Hyperliquid. Those are some of the utilities and main memes. Let's take a look at the 100 through 200 here. I don't know what Venom is, but it's outperforming everybody here. You see Starknet down 11.2%, Giga down 18.5%. Mog down 15% there.
Dogs right there though, 14.7.
Oh wow, that's a pretty big punch in
Brett.
the gut. Yeah, and then Peanut down 16%. So yeah, the memes in ranked 100 through 200 are getting hit a bit harder than the top memes, right? You can see then you see Hex down 7.5%, Kato down 16.4%. So expected, right? Whenever Bitcoin does have that pullback, you do see this, but I didn't expect it to be this bad considering the others chart looked okay on the weekly compared to Bitcoin, but we'll see. This is a daily chart, so we'll see how it performs tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really bad. It doesn't look good at all. I mean, seeing Dog down 15%, seeing the other ones down 50%, but I'm not like worried at all. It's not like that. It's just kind of like this sucks. Let's get through this day. Let's get to tomorrow already, right?
Yeah.
But let's jump to the next thing here. Let's jump into roll call. And we check every single day who the first comment of the day is. And the first comment is Lackey Lukey. Shout out to Lackey Lukey. It is your, let me see. I think you're number one now. It's your 25th win of the year. Congratulations to you, my friend. You are fast as lightning, dude, honestly. But you have win number 25 there. And then you got, Benji won this week. Webdro looks like he won last week. So you are number one. Danny is number two. And then Webdro is number 3 right there. And then Benji is number 4. So this is look like the top 4 right now. Let's see kind of how it shakes out. But congratulations to Lucky Luki today. And then he says, let's up and go. Shockwave incoming. Webdro says, that is fast, Lucky Luki, man. It really is. Choda is here. Shout out to Choda. He says, he is crazy fast. ASAP Benji says, thumbnail keeps getting better and better.
Hey.
Yeah, man. Yagobi actually makes our thumbnails, so great job to you, man. ASAP Benji said, congrats, Lackey. Max is here. Says, Lackey Lukey printing 1 places. Yes, sir. Dog on the air is here. GM 1 plus at is here. He says, my farts haunt my dreams.
That guy's funny.
All right. I mean, comment of the day. I think he got the comment of the day yesterday as well. Shout out to you. Nighthawk says, GM is Dog the answer. I think Dog's the answer for a good portfolio. I mean, I don't know the question, but I guess Dog is the answer. Hydro Sapien, shout out to you, my friend. He says, let's effing go, Dog. Yes. He said, OnChain Revolution is the alpha dope show. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate this dude so much. He's awesome. He also says, Shiz and Yagobi for president. I'll be vice. I don't want to be president.
I know. It's too much pressure.
It's way too much pressure. Malaviri says, what would you say are 4 good bags of alkanes to hold? 4. That's a tough one.
You're more into that, but I mean, just the ones that off the top of my brain from hearing from you is methane's one of the original. So you have diesel and methane; those are the 2 originals, and then you have Alchemist and B are the ones that I hear from you. I don't know though. You know more about that ecosystem than me.
Just I have the same 4. Diesel, which is the the token of alkanes, right? That's supposed to be like the token they created. It's like you can still mine it. I don't know, crazy stuff with that stuff, but that was a smart contract type of mint. And you have methane, which was the first free mint. Anyone could just go and mint this thing using mintalkanes.com. And then you have B and
Bamboo is one too, right?
Bamboo is actually the panda that you have to stake the panda, and you get the bamboo, and then you can go play Satoshi dice with the bamboo, lose the bamboo, and then play the panda that's gone forever. Every every 10,000 bamboo that gets going is 1 panda out of circulation forever that can never be brought back, right? So it's a really, really awesome tokenomics that they've built there. So yeah, I mean top 5, I'll throw bamboo in there too, because I mean I don't know, it's hard to judge bamboo because you need a panda to get it, right? So it's backed by 1 panda, 10,000. So I don't know, it's really, really cool ecosystem for sure.
That was clever, dude. Whoever thought of that, props to you.
Genius, dude. 100%. And then we have Malam Yuri. Shout out to you, most anticipated show. Thank you so much. Choda says, let's stuff and go. Another day, another dip to buy. I'm running out of money, Choda. I can't buy any more dips, bro. Dips and Dip is here, says yo. Satoshi Nakamoto says GM. Vader Time is here. Shout out to Vader Time. KDN is here. Shout out to KDN. Chief Axel is here. Here we go. We got Coach Katz. Cache Katz is here with the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to Cash Katz, our guy, man. I love that every single day. Back like you never left, man. Appreciate it. Ant-Man is here, says GM folks. AIA B2B says, you guys scouting Ape Chain or Abstract Chain for a little DeFi. So we are airdrop farming Abstract for sure. We're streaming live over there on Abstract Chain right now if you're watching through there. But we're both very bullish on Abstract Chain. I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but I'm not really bullish on Ape Chain.
I think, well, so I don't think we've been given reasons to be, but to be fair, we haven't really dove deep into it. But Abstract, funny story about Abstract. You know, when Abstract launched, Shizzy and I were on it, in our community was too, right? Like the alpha members and all that stuff. But here's where, you know, instant gratification is a problem with our space, is that we were in some of the, we were like, Appster was like struggling between 100 and 200,000 as a meme token, and it's the leading one right now, right? I think it's at like 20 something million, or it was 15 to 25 million, and it's the official. We should have known it was like the official mascot, right? But you know, I'm bullish on Abstract Chain. I'm bullish on their memes. They are an ecosystem that memes completely make sense, right? Because you're building communities based off of these IPs too. So I'm very bullish on Abstract. I think Abstract's gonna have a lot of opportunities. They have a lot of games too in their ecosystem. But Ape Chain, I haven't really dived into it yet. I need to check it out. But if there's any alpha or anything that you want to drop about Ape Chain, not shill, but like if there's any type of, you know, gamifications over there or anything like that, put it in the chat. We'll check it out.
Yeah, you can shill. We just can't promise to read it for sure. So we don't care if you guys shill. Go shill away. But we can't promise that we're gonna read every tweet, but or every comment. So Pulse Chain, Richard Hart is here. Shout out to Richard Hart in our chat. He said STX is looking juicy in my opinion.
Stacks.
Yeah. Not bullish on Stacks.
The thing is, I feel like Stacks is like that zombie that you can't kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, if it gets through this and there's like a bunch of bullishness that comes back with it, I'm gonna be like, dude, like Stacks is like, it's like infinity lives, because this last FUD or whatever situation happened, like there's a lot of people that are like really taking stabs at it. So we'll see. It has strong branding, it has strong loyal community, but they're a very emotional community, by the way. It's like the toxic relationship where the boyfriend and the girlfriend break up, get back together, break up, get back together. We'll see how Stacks does though.
Yeah, man, 100%. Stan says, would Satoshi be Michael Saylor's BFF? Thanks. I don't think he would like him. No, I don't think Satoshi would like Saylor either. Saylor is just, so first off, you got to remember the pizza guy, the Bitcoin pizza guy, Laszlo. Satoshi actually reached out to him and said, "Yo, like you don't consume too much Bitcoin," because he's winning like every block. And so he asked them to kind of give some of that away, and he did, right? But obviously at the time it was like 3 cents a Bitcoin. It was, you couldn't even sell it. There was no way to, there was not even a marketplace to sell yet. It was all peer to peer. But yeah, so I don't think Satoshi would like Michael Saylor. And honestly, Michael Saylor doesn't align with Satoshi's thought process. Satoshi, he's all about, self custody and your own wallets. Michael Saylor doesn't believe in self custody. He has organizations managing his Bitcoin for him. So
yeah. So like, do you think the Samson Mows and I don't want to put Adam back in there, he's unique, but the Samson Mows, the Max was his last, do you think they like Saylor?
They love Saylor.
Okay. Yeah.
So
this is a point of argument, I feel like, because they're always talking about, the Satoshi when blah, 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 blah. But then they love whenever this big guy comes from like the traditional markets and all this stuff. So are they really for the mission of what they say they are, or are they really for their own bags at the end of the day? Like most everybody, right? You know what I mean? So like, that's the thing I can't stand about that group of people is they act like there's this on this moral high ground of the way the Bitcoin works from a technical standard or standpoint, but then they like somebody that we all think that Satoshi probably would absolutely despise.
Well, it's because he's only buying Bitcoin. So like the trade-offs for them are there, right?
Money, number go up.
Well, they're willing to trade number go up for his view on self-custody.
Yeah.
Right. So to them, it's better than him coming out and saying, I'm going to own 51% of ETH so I can control the chain, which technically would be a better play if you understood crypto. You know what I mean? Saylor buying Ethereum instead of Bitcoin actually is the better play, because then he can get 6% staking on that Ethereum guaranteed, not to mention what else he can get, right? So honestly, they love the fact that, you know, he's Bitcoin is his chosen token. But Saylor is one of those guys, yeah, he's going to keep doing this, but I think eventually Saylor comes into crypto even heavier than Bitcoin. I think
I do
down
too.
the line, because he loves technology, right?
He's an opportunist too.
100%. And like, if you go back to 2002, 2003, he was yelling at you know, from the mountaintop, buy Apple stock, buy Apple stock, buy Apple stock, right? And then Tesla came out, buy Tesla stock. He's always been early, never too early, never like to the point where Elon Musk was about to go bankrupt. No, he waited for the product to come. He waited for the iPhone to drop, right? For Apple, and then for the car. So confirmation, and that's what he got in 2020 from Bitcoin. He got confirmation because the US was printing so much money and just giving it away, right? So it was and we were in quantitative easing. The Fed was, you know, buying bonds to the market, creating money that way. So he got confirmation that way. So he just needs confirmation again. So right now, Ethereum and stuff like that's too early for him. But I think eventually he does get in. He doesn't believe, in my opinion, in like anything but number go up. So
yeah.
Max says Max reposted the stream. Shout to Max for reposting the stream.
Thank you, sir.
Tim Baker, AOD the artist here, my guy. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being here every day this week. And then Cash Cats finishing out with the fire, the hand, and the fire. Shout out to Cash Cats, man. Appreciate you being here every single day. Appreciate every single one of you guys here every single day. But let's jump back into some news here. So we got a few more things to cover. So all right, here we go. Tether acquires 32% stake in Canadian gold-focused firm Elemental for $89 million. Tether seems to be, you know, obviously they are tokenizing the dollar. Now they're tokenizing gold, bringing gold to the blockchain. How do you feel about this, you know, this purchase or, you know, acquisition of Elemental?
Just going to put it in their bag of ownership, equity, assets, all the above, right? So I think this is just another way for them to show strength without opening their books.
Well, they are opening their books. $89 million. You know,
that's
a lot of money.
But
yeah,
you
but
get
now
what I'm saying?
But what are they acquiring here, right? Besides the gold that this
equity,
this company, right? They basically have gold. Right? They have a lot of gold. They're kind of like the MicroStrategy of gold, right? That's what I'm seeing from this. And you know, they have a lot of gold. So are they going to be using that gold as collateral? That was my first question. That's when I saw this, right?
I mean, to me, it seems like an equity deal, right? If they're taking 32% stake, obviously we don't know what the details are with that, right? That could be, you know,
well, they can influence them to be like, hey,
yeah,
let's collateralize your gold.
Or I mean, they could actually have like the physical deal or something. We don't know. We just know that 32% stake, as in, you know, either equity, probably a good amount of equity, and then whatever deals they came across. But to me, yeah, it opens their books to say that they can do that. It's like a flex a little bit, but it doesn't open their books completely. But it also continually lets people think they're a company that has a large diversity of like assets, right? Different assets.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like showing your strength without having to like let people in. I think.
Yeah.
That's how I view it.
Yeah, 100%. I do see Tether actually acquiring the rest of this company. I think they're slow. They're slow in it right now. They, you know, but I think a gold-backed stablecoin is what they're creating, right? So we'll see. Okay, so Democratic senators Warren and Blumenthal. Push
I know him.
back against Meta's renewed stablecoin ambitions. So Meta wants to get back in the game. Remember, Meta created the Move programming language, it is used to create Sui and Aptos. The two heads of Sui and Aptos used to work for Facebook. They were a part of the Libra program. The Libra was a stablecoin that was just too early. I feel like if it was being created today, I don't think anyone would have a problem with it. But the old administration actually forced Facebook to stop doing what they're doing with the stablecoin, actually eliminating them. And then once that happened, the two heads of that division left. The move language was published as open source, so they used it to create Sui and Aptos. But the whole development of the move language was created at Facebook headquarters. So Facebook actually, it could be very easy for them to spin off their new chain, which could be a replica of Sui, because Sui was a replica of the Move programming language, right? So this is really bullish in my opinion. I want Facebook to get in the stablecoin game. I think adding stablecoins to social media could open up a whole new world of crypto that I don't think we're ready for.
Let me ask you a question. Why didn't we see any pushback from Warren and Blumenthal when Bank of America announced that they're going to establish a stablecoin?
Because she's the banking broad.
There you go. So, like they're starting to really just not care anymore and show their colors without, obviously you got to know the space and know her history and stuff like that to kind of put two and two together. But for people like us, we see right through this.
Yeah.
Now this is TradFi or banking institutions nudging them, saying, hey, we don't need Meta in this industry. We already have enough. There's not enough pie to go around for everybody, right? And so that's what, to me, right off the bat, this is what I read or comprehend from this. And I think it's pretty, I don't know. Now at this point, it's kind of expected from these two. So,
yeah. And, so like, why not let Facebook have a stablecoin?
Because they don't want to be the bankers don't want them to have their slice of the pie because they feel like they could take a lot of it away.
They will take a lot of it away, and I think they're only going after Zuck here, so they can go after Elon when Elon talks about his stablecoin.
Maybe,
because I don't think they want social media and stablecoins to be together. But you could be right. You could be 100% right. Bank of America is like, hey, we paid you. Remember? Let's nix this.
You remember?
So. You remember the private jet ride? Huh? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. So all right, moving along here. Ethereum NFT traders rebound the 2022 levels, bear market levels, as OpenSea and game devs revamp utility. So we're kind of seeing, OpenSea and these game guys really kind of push the utility further, but the traders are just not there. That's kind of what I'm taking from this, but I could be wrong. What do you take from this? 2022 had to be a tough year for. Maybe it was.
Yeah, no, it was pretty tough. Yeah, for like the creation of Ordinals was pretty awesome because it happened, I think, in November, December of 2022. I think he inscribed the very first inscription 0 in December, maybe. But anyways, I guess it was better. I mean, but compared to now, it wasn't as bad for like the ETH. Now there has been some rebound for the top blue chips, right? We saw that happen.
Pudgy,
but I just think that there has to be this success of profit taking in retail to a certain extent to where they hit that level. The first level is you take the profits from the blue chips, then it goes to the mid caps, micros, then NFTs is that whole new narrative that, okay, I'm bored of tokens for a while. You know what I mean? And for us to get there, we got to get into risk on, we got to get through the run of tokens, and then NFTs could happen. So NFTs could happen in Q1, Q2 of 2026. And by the way, 2026 could be a decent year, guys, if you're thinking about it, because this year's been a struggle, even though it is the typical bull run year, and most of us still do expect Bitcoin to have this kind of blow off the top by Q4. Maybe it trickles into Q1 next year, but next year a lot of the regulations and stuff will have been established. There'll be a lot of calmed energy that was crazy from this administration in 2026. So 2026 could actually be a unexpectedly great year for us. We'll see.
2026 could be 2021 because of the delay of what we went through in the last administration, what we went through with this whole tariff stuff. We could actually see 2026 being the bull market year.
We could.
So we never had a delay before. I mean, you gotta remember 2017 finished in February. Bitcoin peaked at the end of January, early February, right? So we'll see.
Yeah.
If we repeat, maybe we have a complete delay. GameStop files for a 1.75 billion offering as Bitcoin Treasury takes hold. So it's looking like GameStop. Obviously, last time they got like 2 billion or something like that, and they used 500 million of that to buy Bitcoin. It looks like they're going to be buying more Bitcoin here, but they want to secure more funding first, and they're going to do that by selling some shares into the market here. Well, GameStop has sold a lot of shares into the market over the last 4 years, but this seems like it's going to be one of the bigger ones. But GameStop potentially looking to buy more Bitcoin.
So they're starting to follow the blueprint. Just a little slow rollout,
They
right? They made their first purchase. Now they follow up with this. So this is big. I think this is
100%.
bullish.
Coinbase to list Farcoin, the Solana coin, Subsquid, the Arbitrum coin, and Pancake, the Ethereum coin, not Binance Smart Chain, but Ethereum version of the token at 9 a.m. PT on July 12th, which is today. It says tomorrow, but that's actually today. Subject to liquidity checks, Farcoin surged 6%. SQD hit an all-time high ahead of launch. What do you think about Farcoin now? And Pancake Swap. It's probably one of the number one DEX in the world right now. Actually, finally listed on Coinbase.
Farcoin deserved to probably be listed a while ago, right?
Yeah.
And so these are more, I think, decent, listings, right? They're all memes. It seem like, at least. The one that like really got me was the Aura kind of revival that Binance did yesterday or the day before, that like had fallen below $1 million market cap and shot all the way. That was at 150. $150 million in market cap within a couple of days, dude. So to me, I like that's disappointing, because Binance, I felt like, kind of cleared up a lot of their, manipulation stuff with like the alpha program and going through this thing. But I don't know. This is good for Farcoin. Farcoin doing well is good for the space. So I think this is, pretty bullish news, even though this is all pretty much memes.
Yeah. Well, not really.
It's one meme, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what Subsquid is, but yeah, I gotta look into it a little bit.
The Pancake Swap. Wait, hold on. So Coinbase is listing all three. Okay, I got it. I was confused for a second. Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's jump to the next thing here. Slingshot Runes update. So Bongo, it's crazy how you can just put out a tweet and then create a storm. So the legendary Bongo, Billy Cat's Bongo, he actually put out a tweet yesterday that basically said, remember a few weeks ago when Slingshot farmed the shit out of Runes community? So I remember that, and we're still not getting anything from that. Then you had Val, right? She came out and she basically said, "Hey, like, you don't understand. Like, this is hard. This isn't vibe coding, to an EVM chain. This is really tough." And then he goes back and he's like, "Well, why did you guys farm it then so early?" And because Magic Eden bought it, right? Magic Eden wanted you to get bullish on it. But I love to hear your take on all this.
First of all, it's a 90% chance that you're going to get a spicy post from Bongo, whether, whatever he's talking about. So I think, you got to give credit to Bongo in terms of being able to build up that engagement, right? He's really good at it. But first of all, before I dive into it, my question to you is, do you think this was warranted? Because I sort of do. I think it was a good call out that was, it was warranted, in my opinion. A lot of people have been waiting for Slingshot. I remember after they announced it, I tagged them like 4 or 5 times after like a month or so, right? So here's the thing, is that it's the Runes community is not a community to
F with.
string along, right?
Yeah.
Because they've been through a lot. Right. And so whenever you say you're going to do something, you better do it, or you're going to get a lot of, slack or put, you know what I mean? And I think that this was deserved. And the responses, first you got Vo from the Slingshot team saying, "This is honestly super disappointing to read. Runes are still being worked on and built. The Runes community bashing platforms are actually trying to do something on Runes is exactly why people think Runes are a joke. First of all, that statement was unnecessary. And then it says, where is the community support around builders? Are you kidding me? Like, there's so much support around builders with the Rune community. The Runes community is like, so, and there's a lot of builders that are building infrastructure, or, you know, like whether it's a scaling solution, this or that. But like Slingshot was a big, exciting news event. And so people have been waiting for the USDC onboarding of Doggo to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, et cetera, right? So I think you got to be very careful in this space to not bite off more than you can chew. And I think that's what happened. I've used that analogy twice today, or that saying, but it's
good,
just, yeah, it's true though, you know? So now basically what they said was, okay, we're not going to, you know, hype this up anymore. We're going to release it once it's ready. So I think that now it's a kind of good, maybe the mentality or mindset should be, all right, so let's kind of shelve Slingshot for the Runes community at least. And they said it's going to come. We'll see. They'll prove it once they release it, right? And kind of a little bit of that's happening with Kraken, except for they put Dog on their actual roadmap. So I think when that next round of listings happens, Dog gets on with Kraken.
Yeah, 100%. But to go back to the Slingshot thing, I think Val needs to step down. I don't think she's doing her job correctly. Ooh, I think that there's something getting in the way of that. Well, she put out a tweet this week too, saying she's going through some like mental health stuff or some health stuff or something, and that sign, and that's fine. I'm not saying anything about that. But if you're not able to do your job, her job, basically, in my opinion, is to make sure the community understands and are aware of these problems. I had no idea that Slingshot was having trouble with the Runes. Right? This should have been said to us, right? This should have been a tweet. Hey guys, you got, like, you know, on the lines of, hey, you know, Runes are coming, but just be patient with us. There's a little bit of a problem there, right? Or a Spaces, hey, Runes community, like, you know, it's a lot harder than we thought. We had no idea. If it was for Bongo, we would still have no idea. So that actually is her fault for not bringing this. And you know, she might be going through some problems, but she's not communicating this to us. So in my opinion, if she's going through these problems, maybe take a leave of absence, maybe do this, maybe do something. But if you're going to sit here and come at Bongo for this, for someone who feels exactly how we all feel, then maybe you're the one not doing your job.
So to be fair, there was a post, I want to say it was maybe 2 weeks after the announcement, that said, hey guys, it's going to take you know, a little bit longer than we initially expected, but good things take time, and et cetera, right? But then no follow up after that. And I want to say that was probably a month ago. So I think that's where the frustration is like, okay, that was cool. You let people know about 2 weeks after the announcement, then like there has been no update, right?
Nothing.
And I think where projects get things wrong, or platforms get things wrong, is this was kind of a mentality back from last cycle, is like, I don't care what you say, we're going to do what we think is right for the project. But very quickly they're going to realize that, you know, the community is their income and their users, right? And as mass adoption happens more and more, they're going to have to really start to accept that and start to realize that. I'm not saying you have to please every single person. That's not what I'm saying. But if there's more numbers that are growing that are unhappy with the same thing, that you should probably pay attention to that. That's a trend.
Yeah.
You know, so
100%. And you know, a weekly tweet from Slingshot talking about Runes. Hey guys, you know, or you know, or maybe a space, you know, coming out and saying, you know, this is a timeline that we have. They never gave us a timeline. So that was kind of their problem as well. Like, when that was announced, what were you thinking? I thought 3 days, 4 days, 5 days.
I don't know about that.
I did.
I feel like that's a pretty quick turnaround, though.
But it's Magic Eden. Who's people they've been working on. If it wasn't Magic Eden, I would say, yeah, that's quick turn. That's way too quick for turnaround. But this is someone who's been working on for a while just to acquire the company. I'm thinking, you know, there's a reason for that. So I'm thinking, hey, Runes are going to get listed.
So I expected probably 2 to 4 weeks max. That's what I think that's a fair turnaround time. You know what I mean?
What 3 months now? 2 months?
I want to say probably about, I mean, I think they might have announced it in March, but at least April, right? So almost 2 months or a little bit more. I'm not sure. I got to look at the dates, but yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep, you know, beating a dead horse here, but at the end of the day, it's you know, we'll just kind of shelve that. I think, me personally, I already did mentally until Bongo kind of brought it back up, and it's like, it's like something that you're like, okay, I moved past this, and then someone brings it up and you're like, I'm mad about that still. You know, so that's what happened here. I think
before Bongo's tweet, I thought it could be any day. I thought, hey,
Yeah.
it could be tomorrow. We could wake up tomorrow. So with Slingshot, I was even thinking. I even put a tweet out that was like, who comes first, Kraken or Slingshot, and it was 48-52, right? Kraken. So I mean, he's right there. So people are not aware of the problems that Slingshot is having, and they should never announce runes if they didn't know the work that was going into it. And I think that's a problem with the social media managers. I mean, social media managers, whether that's Val or someone else, I think that you have to be more engaging with community, especially right now. But
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, right? Magic Eden's they're doing their best. Slingshot's doing their best. But maybe communicating that a little better would be better. So all right. The last thing here, Funky Bit. Bum. So yeah, so let's kind of get into that. So Funky Bit put out a tweet yesterday that caught a lot of people off guard, you included. I remember I was with you. We were either in a meeting or outside of a meeting or something, and you were like, damn. And I was like, what? You're like, Funky Bit's done. So let me go and read the tweet here. This is from Funky Bit. They said, we're winding down Funky Bit. After several months live on testnet and mainnet, we've decided to shut down the Funky Bit app and end deployment of the project. While we're proud of what we built and grateful for the support we've received, it's clear that the timing just isn't right. The app will remain online for a short period to allow users to finalize any outstanding activity and make withdrawals, and then it will be fully sunset. Please withdraw any balances prior to Wednesday, June 18th. Wow, they gave you like no time. They only give you a week. No further updates will be posted from this account. Stay funky. Why would anyone stay funky like after this? But I don't know. So Funky Bit, that's kind of explained. They were an Arch project. They were seen as an Arch project. I guess they needed funds quickly, so they went live on Base Chain. You still had a deposit in. They were doing runes inside. The marketing wasn't there. It just wasn't there. The Arch team seemed to be a little bit off guard a little bit from the Base launch anyway. So that didn't feel right. I didn't participate, but you participated. So I'd love to know your opinion on this.
Yeah, well, it's actually really shocking because I actually withdrew my stuff last week just because I wanted to utilize that into something else, like the Believe ecosystem, which ended up being a great decision, especially now. Right? But first of all, I want to say, if you guys have anything in Funky Bit, make sure you go take that out ASAP. Right? You want to get whatever you have left in there out. So make sure you take care of that. Secondly, I feel like, in a sense, they gave up here. Right.
They quit.
So, yeah, they quit. But also, you told me, and at the time I was kind of halfway agreeing with you, halfway. Let's see what happens. But they rushed it. They extremely rushed it. It wasn't even like the tech was bad. The tech was actually really decent. But you don't launch a platform, a launchpad platform, which actually had a really good setup in terms of connecting your Xverse that also connects with your MetaMask and like pairs those, and then you're still inscribing runes on Bitcoin Layer 1. The setup was actually really good.
Yeah.
The problem was they weren't prepared from a go-to-market standpoint, in my opinion, right? Like they didn't have like a Chinese community ambassador or multiple ambassadors. They didn't have a really good reward system. And then they started to try to add those things as people were complaining and this and that, right? And so to me, it is a bit disappointing because I felt like the platform was a good user experience. But again, I should have been tipped off whenever they launched the PC side, but without the mobile side. Like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? That's a horrible go to market. Like, you got to have mobile available within a day to a week max of the PC launch. And they were just constantly, it's coming. So one, either they ran through their burn rate, if they had burn rate, way too fast, so they couldn't, get the developers to build it out, or two, just decided to try to see what they can. I think they were excited because they saw what Odin.fun could do, and they felt like they could probably do better. And it was kind of the opposite.
That's, in my opinion, you're 100% right. I think that they saw Odin and they feel like they were missing their opportunity. They rushed it. They put it on Base. So, in my opinion, Arch is going to be very, very pumped, right? For a lot of different reasons. You're going to see the Arch network. It's going to hit hard when it launches. It's going to be one of those things where you just can't get it off your timeline. And Funky Bit could have gotten a lot of that. but they rushed the base. So even with them being on base, if Arch launches, I still don't think they would have got that fire that they would have got if they stayed patient and just waited for Arch to launch. I mean, we're hearing what, a month, 30 days from today, right? So I think they got ahead of themselves, and I think Andrew is awesome. I think
Yeah,
Serge is
he's
a great
yeah.
guy. So I think that that whole team is really good, but you got greedy, you rushed it to base, and you didn't stand by Arch. And I heard it, like Nick and Matt didn't say it out loud, but I heard it in their voices when they were talking about our Funky Bitcoin. Like they didn't really tweet about it. They didn't really give their support about it in the very beginning. I know Arch, Matt was like playing on it and stuff like that. They were talking about launching tokens and stuff, but like Arch didn't give it that full support that I think it would have given it if they would have just been patient and waited for Arch.
Yeah, and they could have also still had the door to base whenever they did launch on Arch, right? Like they
There's
could
no
have the
reason.
well, I'm just
to
saying
base.
they could have had the door there if they wanted it. Is my point. Like they didn't have to start there. But I agree with you on that part. But it is what it is. Project builders and founders, they they give it their best shot, and sometimes it's not the right timing fit or whatever, and that seems to be the case here.
It just sucks though, because I truly feel like if they would have just waited, they would have been probably really successful.
But there's also another opportunity on Arch right now to do a launch pad. So if you are a builder and you do have the ability to build in a Rust environment, then now there's a launch pad opportunity there.
I'm hoping it's more of like the Believe app though. I'm hoping it's more of a
internet capital markets. Yeah, I agree.
Rather than a pump. Like I think them right now are actually one of the top opportunities right now, and like a Believe app on Bitcoin, where this is all coming from. Like I hear this from you, where you're earning Bitcoin for in 1% of the fees in Bitcoin. Which
I mean, for serious like businesses, whether it's a fully on digital or Web3 or Web2 hybrid or whatever, if there is an ICM launchpad, then imagine earning your creator fees in Bitcoin, right? So because you're going to actually kind of have to make a decision for yourself. Am I going to sell my Bitcoin down for runway? Well, maybe I'll just sell 25% down for runway because I want 25% to go towards my Bitcoin reserve for my company. And then the other 50%, I just know that it's going to go up in value the next couple of years. So I think it's really enticing. And we'll see if someone does it. Like,
do it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Do it. But shout out to Hillbilly right here. He said, let's go. And then Courtney Johnson, our guy, says peace. But thank you guys. We have 318 people on YouTube on next, not to mention everyone on Twitch, Kick, Abstract, and Rumble. And then we'll be uploading to Spotify later. We appreciate every single one of you guys who watch us every single day. Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely, guys. As Shizzy said, without you guys, we couldn't do this, and we love this. This is our passion. So we thank you so much. But we also couldn't do this without our partners, so we ask that you guys check them out as well. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're going to swap for runes, do it at satsterminal.com. Not only will you get the most liquid and best pricing there, you're also going to be able to earn Amber points that is going to go towards future rewards for early adopters. So you know what that means. This team is really connected. Everybody wants to partner with them in terms of either aggregate from, integrate into, it doesn't matter. So they are, in my opinion, the hottest place to go trade runes. But also, if you're interested in alkanes, you can swap for alkanes there as well. They support alkanes as well. So those two meta protocols right now, Bitcoin fungibles, are going to heat up, in my opinion, and this is the place to do it. So head over to satsterminal.com today, follow them on X, and join their community so you know all about their Amber is Forever campaign, different ways to earn Amber points there. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is some Bitcoin, a Bitcoin wallet, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets in their Blitz markets. Their Blitz markets is a 10-minute timer that you can choose either Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana to get a price locked in. And then you decide either you think it's going to go up or down, and then you make that decision, and then you wait an additional 10-minute countdown to see if you were correct or incorrect. It's a fun little gamified way to leverage without going fully into like a leverage platform, right? In the future, you're going to be able to also earn if you create your own markets. That's what separates them from the typical poly market, right? Is you're going to have your own markets that you can create yourself and try to get users to place bets in your markets. You can earn 1.5% of the total volume. Super excited about that, guys. And then there's going to be a referral earning as well, where you can earn 1% of their total volume as well. Head over to betbtc.win, sign up for an account today. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability tooling for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to jump your ordinal from Bitcoin layer 1 to abstract to base chain to Merlin, Bitcoin layer 2, as well as Ethereum. Right now, they started with their first Ethereum bridge over from ordinals, and it is the Taproot Wizards. So if you are in that community, you can actually bridge it over and borrow against that. So exciting times there. And you're going to be able to use their AI agent Hustle in the future once they add the Bitcoin tech stack to Hustle. Right now, it is only operating in the Solana ecosystem, but you need an assistant to help you through the trenches of Solana. Trust me, I'm over there. And so Hustle is amazing for research, amazing for, like, sometimes I'll say, find me a really safe 5X, and then it'll give me a couple of options, right? So there's many things you can use Agent Hustle for, and it's actually free right now, but very soon they're going to integrate their token business model into it. So check it out. It's agenthustle.ai. I would say check it out, see if this is a product for you. And then don't forget, they have their TGE for their Bitcoin Runes TGE in September. Right now, you can head over to OpenSea. If you search Emblem Founder Vaults, you can participate in the pre-sale. And once we get close to that TGE date, and sometime in September this year, they're going to give you guys instructions on how to get the Bitcoin Runes out of that pre-sale vault into your Bitcoin wallet. But if you head over to emblem.vision, you can learn all about that team and all the products they have there to offer you guys. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be launching very soon on Botonix, the spider chain, Bitcoin layer 2. There's going to be a really cool co-marketing and promotion event that's going to be happening on Botonix as well. And if you utilize the Artura, being an early adopter there, you're going to be able to earn as well. So make sure you're doing that. Right after the Botonix, or soon after, they're going to be also launching on Hemi Bitcoin layer 2, which is backed by Binance Labs. So 2 launches here coming between Q3 and Q4. It's going to be really exciting for them. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens like Dog Go to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, Pups, and possibly Ordi and Sats as well. But then the traditional tokens will be available: XRP, Tau, Ethereum, those type of tokens as well. Let's say you don't want to trade, and you want to participate by adding liquidity to their staking vaults. You can do that and earn passively. But make sure you join their Discord, because they have a lot of experienced traders that give tips to their community members there. Head over to Artura.finance today to dive into their docs and learn more about them. And then Fluid Tokens, the UTXO wizard devs that started off on Cardano, worked their way to Bitcoin. They're still on Cardano, but on Bitcoin, they were the first to build and offer retail staking vaults to you guys, right? That's really cool, being on Bitcoin layer 1 and offering staking there. If you are a founder of a collection, or you etched a rune with an established community, head over to their Discord, ask them how to get a staking vault set up for your community. They will walk you through it. Also, you can utilize their airdrop tool on the Bitcoin side if you need to airdrop runes to your community. Really simple. You can utilize the CSV file, which is Excel or Google Sheets, or you can do it manually, one by one. You just click on the airdrop tool or the airdrop tab in their menu there, and then you go step by step there. And then on the Cardano side, you can actually participate in their Aquarium platform, and you can earn Babel fees by participating over there. So really exciting things from this team, constantly dropping new features and products. Head over to fluidtokens.com. Make sure to join their Discord, though, guys. Really exciting things from that team. And then Tokyo Wallet, the multi-chain smart wallet that's building the best UI and UX in crypto. They have access to, or they're supporting Cardano infrastructure as well as Bitcoin. So you can swap for the SNEC token on the Cardano side, or Dog Go to the Moon on the Bitcoin side. They partnered with Sats Terminal to make that possible directly in their app. And they also partnered with the leading aggregator on Cardano as well. But that's not all. They're going to be adding more ecosystems and environments. So just stay tuned there, guys. If you have an Apple iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store, download the app. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play, download the app. Let us know what you think about the application. If there's some features you want added, they're going to also be updating the toke token holders, which is their native token, which is on Cardano, but they're going to have some updates for that. So make sure you're following them on the X side and join their communities as well. Head over to Tokyo.io today. And then Merlin Chain uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI with their 0.03 wizard AI that guides you through their ecosystem. You can actually use the wizard AI to swap. You can use it to stake. And speaking of staking, you can actually help secure Merlin Chain by participating in the proof of stake program right now, right? You have to use your Merlin tokens to participate there, but there's two different staking options. There's the flexible, which is a day-to-day, and you earn up to 15% APR, or you earn 15% APR there, but you have to wait 7 days to withdraw that. So just remember that. And then the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup of your Merlin tokens, and you earn 45% APR there, but you can actually withdraw your rewards on the day-to-day basis there. Merlin Chain's team is crushing it. They're creating new partnerships every day. You know, some of the notable ones are they're part of the Wrapped Bitcoin DAO, which is the only Bitcoin ecosystem member. Everybody else is from, you know, the Ethereum side, because Wrapped Bitcoin started there, right, bridging over and making that possible. So one of 11 members is really exclusive. And then also they're part of the Binance Alpha program, as well as Perps, Binance Perps as well. So exciting things to come from this team. Head over to merlinchain.io today, dive in, join their community, all that great stuff. Lastly, our integrated partners in Jungle, formerly Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. And they've added the addition of Bitcoin Derby into their ecosystem, but they are going to be a launch pad for game developers. If you're not a developer, you can actually use their launch pad, because you don't have to have development skills to launch games, right? They're going to have some templates, but they'll also like allow you to customize them a bit. And then Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. Similar to a Sats Terminal, they're aggregating for Ordinal. So cheapest Ordinals around will be at Ordinal Hive. And don't forget to use their trader tools, amazing trader tools on their platform. Thank you guys for checking out our partners. It means a lot to us, guys.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, we have some of the best articles, guys, articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and caught up to where we are today. Definitely check out this new article that just dropped all about Alkanes if you want to learn about what they are building with these WASM smart contracts and everything like that. It's all in this article. Check it all out here. Alkanes, it's right there, guys. Click it, do it. But if you guys need a VPN, I use a VPN for every single site that I go to, guys. It is stupid to go to these websites with your IP hanging out. Don't do it. Get a VPN. Use Nord. It's $3 a month, guys. It's stupid not to. Make sure you guys are using our link, because if you don't use our link, you got to pay $10. But if you use our link, you'll get it for $3 and lock it in for 2 years like I did. I think it was $64. Set it, forget it. You know, I'll see you in 2 years. I'll see you in 2027. So definitely get a VPN today and make sure that is Nord. And if you guys need merch, we have some of the best merch in all of crypto here, guys. Check it all out here on our third-party Shopify. We got some of the best stuff, guys. Hats, jackets, shirts, and much, much more. Check it all out here at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.